Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump into one of the most important topics in your chemistry syllabus and really get it. We are breaking down the ultimate showdown, metals versus nonmetals. So, have you ever really stopped to think about this? Why are electric wires always made of something like copper, but the coating around them is plastic? Or how is it that a goldsmith can shape gold into these beautiful, intricate pieces of jewelry, but if you try to do the same thing to glass, it just shatters? Well, the answer to all of these questions is all about understanding the world of metals and nonmetals. And trust me, you really want to understand this, because this chapter is one of the highest scoring ones in all of Class 10 chemistry. I'm telling you, if you can nail the concepts we're about to cover, a huge chunk of chemistry is just going to click into place. So you ready? All right, let's do this. First things first, what actually makes an element a metal or a nonmetal? It's not just about, how they look or feel. The real difference, the fundamental difference, goes way deeper, right down to their chemical soul, to their electrons.
Let's start with metals. We all kind of know them as things that conduct electricity. They have that special shine, and you can shape them pretty easily. But here's the real secret sauce, the thing you absolutely need for your exams. Chemically speaking, metals are generous. They love to lose electrons. And since electrons are negative, when an atom gives one away, it's left with a positive charge, turning it into a positive ion. Just think of the classics: iron, copper, and gold.
All right, so on the flip side, we've got the nonmetals. And you can probably guess, they're pretty much the opposite in every way. They're poor conductors, they usually look dull, and they're brittle, which just means they break easily. So what's their key chemical personality? Well, they're electron takers. They want to gain electrons, and when they take on that extra negative charge, they become negative ions. Think of things like oxygen, carbon, and sulfur.
So, there you have it. Metals give away electrons, and nonmetals take them. That's the core chemical story. But, in our day-to-day lives, the easiest way to tell them apart is just by looking at their physical properties.
Okay, let's kick things off with the big one, conductivity. This actually answers that very first question we had. Metals are fantastic conductors of both heat and electricity. That's exactly why copper is the absolute star of our electrical wires. Nonmetals, on the other hand, are poor conductors. We call them insulators, which is why we use plastic to safely cover those exact same wires. Makes sense, right? Now, this is where it all comes together beautifully. Let's just run through these. We already covered conductivity. Then there's malleability. That's just a fancy word for being able to be hammered into thin sheets. It's why we have aluminum foil. And ductility is why we can pull copper into those long, thin wires. Nonmetals? Nope, they're brittle. They just break. And of course, metals are usually shiny and have a high density. They feel heavy. Nonmetals are the opposite, dull and not so dense. Okay, I know that might seem like a lot to juggle in your head, but don't worry, I've got the ultimate hack for you. When it comes to physical properties, just remember this one simple thing. Nonmetals are the opposite of metals in pretty much every single way. So if you know the properties of one, you automatically know the properties of the other. Easy. All right, physical properties are locked in. Now let's move on and see how this all connects to their chemical behavior. And listen, I need you to really focus in now, because this section on how they react, this is absolutely crucial for scoring well in your exams. First up, what happens when they react with oxygen? When a metal reacts with oxygen, it forms something called a metal oxide. And these oxides are typically basic in nature, which means they can neutralize acids. A perfect example is when magnesium burns to form magnesium oxide. Now, nonmetals also react with oxygen, but they form nonmetal oxides, which are acidic. Think of carbon burning to create carbon dioxide. So you see, basic versus acidic, that is a massive difference to remember. So what happens when we throw water into the mix? Well, the more active metals will react with water to form a metal hydroxide, and, this is important, they release hydrogen gas. But nonmetals, for the most part, they just don't react with water at all. It's as simple as that. And guess what? We see pretty much the exact same story when it comes to acids. Metals will react with acids to produce a salt, and you guessed it, they release hydrogen gas again. And nonmetals, again, they generally don't react. So the pattern is super clear here. Metals are the more reactive bunch in these situations. Okay, time for a quick warning section. Chemistry loves its exceptions, and exams love to test you on them. So here are a few common traps. First, not everything that shines is a metal.
The nonmetal iodine is actually really shiny. Second, don't just assume all nonmetals are gases. Carbon and sulfur are solids. And third, not all metals are hard solids. The most famous exception is mercury, which is a liquid at room temperature. So don't get caught out by these little tricksters.
So, okay, we've talked properties, we've talked reactions, but why does any of this actually matter? Well, it matters because these very characteristics are what we use to literally build the world around us.
Just look around you. The incredible strength and malleability of iron is why we build skyscrapers with its alloy, steel. Copper's amazing conductivity is why it's in pretty much every electrical wire you can find. The nonmetal oxygen is, well, literally what keeps us alive. And the reactivity of a metal like lithium is what's powering the battery in the phone you might be watching this on right now. It's everywhere.
All right, we've covered a lot. Let's boil it all down to the 3 absolute must-know points. This is your quick revision. First, at the core chemical level, metals lose electrons, nonmetals gain them. Got it? Second, their physical properties. Metals are conductive and can be shaped, while nonmetals are insulators and brittle. They're opposites. And third, their chemical reactions with things like oxygen, water, and acids are totally different. If you can master these 3 distinctions, you've totally mastered this chapter. Seriously, if you've stuck with me this far, you have just unlocked a massive piece of your chemistry syllabus. So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Look around you, right now, wherever you are. Based on everything you've just learned, can you spot one more example of a metal and one more example of a nonmetal that you use every single day? Give it a try, and I promise you'll start seeing chemistry absolutely everywhere.